Grip socks are great, and now they're even better with Pure Grip Socks Pro. Better fit, moisture wicking, amazing comfort, and all the extra grip you need. Choose from 10 different colors for just $16.99 a pair at puregripsocks.com.
$200+ for a single pair of football boots is a lot of money, and contrary to what a lot of people seem to think, just because you're spending more money doesn't necessarily mean they're going to last longer. In fact, it's almost the opposite, where thinner, lighter, and softer materials typically found on more expensive football boots simply aren't going to last as long. And then there's the less expensive side of things, cheap football boots, if you will, where unlike high-end football boots, where they all tend to be pretty good, the spectrum in terms of how bad and how good a product can be varies quite significantly when you're talking about football boots at lower price points. Which is why you can't talk about cheap football boots without also talking about value for money football boots. Because being cheap doesn't always equate to good value. In fact, more often than not, if you're buying something really cheap in the football boot world, it's not going to be very good quality at all, and you're probably not getting your money's worth compared to what you could be getting from an alternative, or by just spending a little bit more, you can get a football boot that is 10 times better. And if this is a game that you really love and spend a lot of time playing, I think spending that little bit extra when needed is more than worth it. Which is why in today's video, I'm gonna be sharing my picks for the top 5 best cheap, but also great value for money football boots currently available in 2022. All of which you can get for yourself below their normal retail prices by way of some exclusive SR4U coupon codes by checking out the links down in the description. The Adidas Copa Sense Point 3, a football boot that retails for just $80 but can be regularly found on sale for significantly less than that. From a value for money perspective, it's a football boot that fits really well, feels really comfortable on feet, has some nice high quality calfskin leather here at the front of the forefoot. The neoprene synthetic material through the midfoot feels quite good. You get a one-piece enclosure that relates it a little bit more closely to a lot of high-end football boots, and the sole plate end stud pattern, compared to a lot of boots at this price point, feels really solid and definitely performs the part. The Nike Premier 3 with a retail price of $110 is a great example of a football boot that gives you many of the features you'd expect to find on a top-end $200+ product for something that costs half as much. And again, you can regularly find these on sale for under $100. You get a full kangaroo leather upper, styling that's definitely more on the traditional side, although in my opinion, very good looking. It fits extremely well, it's incredibly comfortable. The touch on the ball is as good as anything. I love the softness and cushion that you get from this kangaroo leather material, and the sole plate end stud pattern, while more on the basic side in terms of aesthetics, does perform quite well. The slightly shorter studs might actually be better for a lot of slightly firmer playing surfaces, and the flexibility of the sole plate means that this is a football boot that is super comfortable out of the box with little to no break-in time required. The Puma Future Z 2.3 at $130 is remarkably similar to its top-end brother, the Future Z 1.3, that retails for $200. You get the exact same sole plate end stud pattern as a base, which is unheard of on a takedown model football boot, and you get a really premium knit upper, a fit and feel that is well above average for this style of football boot at this price point. If you compare this to anything else in the synthetic category, this pretty much blows it out of the water for under $150. And again, if you're on a budget looking for a top-end football boot experience, you'll be very, very pleased with the way that these fit, feel, and perform. The New Balance 442 version 2 Pro, a football boot that retails for $130 but features a full kangaroo leather upper, a sole plate end stud pattern that is like you'd find on any top-end football boot, weighs less than a pair of top-end Mercurial Vapor 14 Elites, and honestly rivals the quality of every top-end football boot out there. The only thing better is $280+, which is crazy to think considering that these are only $130 $130. They have the feel of a top-end model at a takedown model price point. They fit incredibly well. The touch on this kangaroo leather upper is incredible, and pretty much everything about it is what you'd expect to find on a more expensive football boot, but for basically half the price. The Puma Ultra 2.4 at $130, if you're on the market for a pair of speed boots on a budget, is the only ones you should be considering. Just like the Future Z, it features the same sole plate and stud pattern taken from the top end model, making this incredibly lightweight, in fact lighter than any of the top end speed boot offerings from Nike as well as Adidas. The only thing that's lighter than these is Puma's own top-end Ultra 1.4 that retails for $200. The upper is like that of a top-end football boot, very similar to the previous generation upper found on the Puma Ultra series. It fits incredibly well. It's remarkably comfortable considering how light it is. Super aggressive traction, a very solid base. Again, nothing about this football boot feels like a cheap takedown model, despite the price basically being half of what you're used to paying for a top-performing speed boot.